Good afternoon and welcome back to Ravenport. It's just past midday, the crops are ready to go. Our heroic Fent has finished the forestry, all the forestry that we're going to do in that area. We sold the piece of land back. We'll have a look at the numbers in a minute. We've basically got nearly $270,000, but as you can see, we desperately need repair and fuel. Now, you can repair by going into your garage screen, selecting the vehicle and clicking the left stick. It'll cost me $752 to do so, but it won't give me any fuel. I'll come up here to the shop because I need to pick something up anyway. So let's have a look at what happens if we try to repair it here. Right, to repair here is going to cost $627, which is a bit less, so we're going to do that. And has it refueled it? No, it hasn't refueled it. I'm sure when the game first came out it was. We'll get some fuel on the way back down to the farm. I still cannot get the game to size properly on any of the displays that I use, so I can't see the fuel gauge once it's gone below half. Anyway, we're going to buy a couple of quick things here and we're going to head back down to the farm. There's been some exciting developments in the game. First of all, there have been some new mods out that are non-giants mods, so real mods from modders, a wide selection. We'll look at those as we go along and as they become relevant. For now, I'm just going to grab one of these, which is to plant some trees. We're going to lease it for $1,300, and we're going to lease one of these and get a little bit of work out of them, keep them under the hour. We also need to buy a pallet of saplings, 20 pieces. We'll grab one and see how we get on space wise. So we bought one of those. Okay, so we're going to put the planter on the back. Let's just hope I'm not about to run out of fuel, because I really wouldn't know. So the most pleasing development is an update of the game has separated placing buildings from terraforming. There are now two separate things that you do via the store, and it works out much cheaper. You can do terraforming and make things nice if you like, or you've got much more ability to put down a building for a much lower initial cost. The choice is now yours, which is very good. I'll see you back at the farm. So we're back down on the farm and the harvester has started harvesting. We are going to build ourselves a shed. It's time we had one, and now thanks to this change in the game, there's the train, did you catch that? Thanks to this change in the game, we're in the store, as you can see, there's now a landscaping section. We'll look at this more in just a minute. In a basic sense, and we'll look at this maybe in a different video to explore this a little bit more, because there's quite a bit to this by the look of it. Anyway, our first problem is we want to build a shed. These are mods. Easy shed with lights, $9,000. Now I want to get it in here somewhere, so that tree is in the way. We could get it right up against the field. And you'll see it's only $1,400 there. I'm sure last time I checked this it was going to be about 20,000, maybe more. I will look back and check, but I'm just so pleased that those costs have been taken out. They really were. Playing on this difficulty setting almost just made it impossible to actually build anything. Maybe they took into account the economy when you kind of start off with all that money and all that stuff, and didn't really think about how it would affect players going for it on a very meager budget. But anyway, let's get on with this. I'm going to do this. It's a different kind of tree. I'm not sure what kind of tree it's supposed to be. Does anyone know? I've tried to look at the leaves because they're usually reasonably accurate, but I don't know. Anyway, we're just going to take this one down. I'll turn off the chainsaw. I know it's quite noisy. I'm going to do this just speeded up. It is a different kind of tree. You can just see how I kind of deal with it without you having to put up with all the noise and fuss.
Every evening when the sun goes down, get with my party and I begin to clown. I don't care what the people are thinking. I'm not drunk, I'm just a drinking. I set 'em up, another round. I'll set 'em up, another round. I'll set 'em up, another round. One more round, get me down. All full of lush, my babe began to fuss and I said, honey, hush. I don't care what the people are thinking. I'm not drunk, I'm just drinking. I set 'em up, another round. I set 'em up, another round. I set 'em up, another round. One more.
Right, so that's that taken care of. We'll tidy up the wood. We need to make sure that's not now in the way of where we need to put the shed, and we'll get the stump out. The little pieces of wood, I'm hoping they're going to be light enough to chuck on the trailer. If not, I might just chop them up to make sure they are, because I'm pretty sure that money wise they're not going to be significant amount at all, but we shall find out. Any idea what kind of tree this is? Do let me know. Right. Still quite sticky. This is the first time I've used the jaws since I got that last update. Right, I think that's probably going to be out the way enough for me to pick up. Let's just get on with the stump grinding and get the shed down. And it's about the right kind of time for us to get on with stage 2 of today's plan. Right. I quite often use this on the front of the tractor, but today we shall stay traditional. Let's zoom in a little bit. It's a very nice little machine, very dangerous looking. Just turn him on. And then from inside the tractor you can move him up and down, side to side. You can actually lower him onto his legs, there you go. Which I guess in real life you'd need to do to make sure you maintain your stability. Right, he's all gone. Turn him off. We'll get this tractor out of the way, because placing buildings is quite sensitive to pieces of equipment. We'll detach him so we're not putting up the least time. They fall over quite a lot. That was my fault. I should have taken the time to unlower it and straighten it up. I'll fix that in a moment. Let's get on with placing this shed. Now you can get the lit version or the unlit version. That was in the game. That's not a mod, the unlit version. And I wish it gave credit to the modders in the game. No, I'm going to have to move all that equipment. There you go, it's that fussy. Might not even like the trees, but let me just tidy up. And well, as you can see, there's been a couple of issues with some physics and some glitching. I'm beginning to think that the stickiness I've been encountering with the jaws is actually a stickiness and collision box issue with the wood. Basically a branch is stuck to the main log. I moved them, then some of them twanged off over here. This one's kind of stayed where it is. It's also added considerably, I think, that situation to the weight of trying to move this stuff around. I don't know. I have moved one of these trees before. And there wasn't a huge weight issue with it, but because of this, yeah, it's a little bit strange. And let's see what happens when we put it down. I really don't know what to do about this tool. Let's put that piece down. Are they still connected? I don't know. So the stump behind me here is actually left over from that little bit of forestry we did before, a couple of days ago, when we just took one trailer load, took out the big trees that were around the place. Should be well out of the way. Right, as should now all of this stuff. So let's back this up. Oh no, I'm stuck underneath. Forgive me, I promise you this is not going to degenerate into another forestry episode. I have to say, in terms of advancing this playthrough, and I know it's been a little bit not quite sporadic, but I haven't been cracking on with it by any stretch. It's because I've been waiting for some of these patches and the mods. To be fair, now that I can build stuff, Look at the weight of that piece of wood, and that's with my finest back weight. I could lower the back weight. No. You know what? For now, I'm literally just going to leave it here. Oh, crikey, let go. Oh, that may be a bit of a roadblock, but not to worry. Right. I think we've got plenty of room for the shed. So make sure before I get out of the vehicle, I'm going to get the trailer out of the way. Have we still got... Oh, we have got that piece of wood attached. Oh, game, thank you. Forever putting little smiles on my face. I can raise the back weight because that could cause some issues, and we'll drop it. Hopefully we can leave that there for now too. Right, let's place this shed, shall we? Come on. You must fit here somewhere. Now see, I can stick it right in the ground. Do we need to level the ground? We haven't sculpted the ground at all yet. And we could do that a little bit. That's fine actually, exactly there is a good place to place it. But what we're going to do, I'm not sure, I'm doing this a little bit blind. I think if I place it, it's just going to be on the grass. So what we have to do, I think, before we place it, and before I try any of this, I shall save the game, just in case I get this totally wrong. There we are. Right, so shop. Start landscaping. Now we can zoom in and out with a D-pad the same as we can in any other kind of piece of the game. This is kind of my paintbrush, and I can change his size and his shape by clicking the right stick. If I click the left stick, I go into this paint mode, which is more of a texture thing, and that's kind of what I'm after here, because I just kind of want a bit of hard standing. Is that counting as some kind of... And I've no idea how much this costs. Let me say that right up front. Do I need to level the ground a bit here first? Because we can do that. If I press Y and move this around, it'll smooth. So should I do this first? Is this costing much money? I can't really see. The last, well, it's not going down catastrophically badly. Well, let's smooth this off. Now if I press right bumper, that's going to flatten it. Oh, but if you keep your finger on the button, it kind of over flattens it. And now allow shed go on there. Yes, it will, won't it? Quite nicely. Back where it's been levelled. So it does need a level surface to go on. So we'll go back to this. We'll press right bumper just back here. Just to flatten this out. No? Can we not flatten over here? The object is obstructing the terrain modification. It's these blasted trees, I'm guessing. It's that stump, maybe. I think we're going to do okay. Let's just click over to here. Ground type. Now, if we do left and right on the D-pad, if you see down in the bottom right hand corner, we're changing the texture. I wish they had names, because I want something kind of concretey, nice, but not too horrible, not too machined, if you know what I mean. Let's see what that looks like. That's okay. We'll have some of that for our shed to stand on. It's still not costing me a ridiculous amount of money, which is good. Cross here. As I say, I think we'll come back and look at this in more detail. That's quite a nice, neat job. I like that. Right, and now hopefully our shed will reside quite happily on here. A little bit of hard standing just around the edge, but he's further away enough, I hope, not to interfere with the harvesting too much. Yes, there we are. Our collection of fields is turning into a farm. We have a shed, it's official. Right, we need to get on with some bits and pieces here in the fields, but first we need to meet a new friend, so to the shop. I have threatened buying a new tractor. We are going to buy a second tractor. I'm not going to say it's totally essential at this stage of where we are, but we're going to do it anyway. Now, cheapness wise, we basically just want a field tractor that is going to work the fields. The Fiat would be great if the next fields we were going to buy were going to be very local. If I knew it was just going to sit here in this area, never have to trundle around, because the killer is its top speed of 15 miles an hour. It's 59,000. Now, a mod, one of the Giants mods that came in, and basically it's just an asset from the old game. A little bit cheaper, $45,000. Hurleyman, it's less power, but it's enough power to use all of the machinery we've got, and it's got the front 3-point mount, so its versatility is a factor too. And he goes at 24 miles an hour. Boom. Right, so we're going to buy him. We're going to buy him with narrow tyres, because that's all he's ever going to need. And we're going to go straight to him. There he is. He looks rather spindly, I must say, on these field tyres, but an old friend. If only he'd take a front loader mount, he'd be the perfect little yard tractor. Let's have a look. Here he is. Start that engine. We've got moving needle. Looks like a rev counter. Very basic in here. It does have a stereo. Does it have a beacon? No beacon. But that's okay. And this guy's job is literally going to be to do with staying right with the harvester, doing all of the field jobs. The Fendt is going to allow us a little bit of flexibility, although as we've discussed before, We can do jobs on the contracts and rent the equipment. Even if we've got a spare tractor to maybe do the mission, we might have not have the appropriate machinery, so we can't pick and choose, unfortunately, and just rent the right plough or the right sowing machine, etc. So here is Mr. Hurleyman. His very first job on the farm is going to be to empty out the harvester. He's not quite full, but he's ever so nearly full. So I just stopped him rather than leave him ticking over on the wages. And the Fendt is going to stay on his his normal tyres, not field tyres, and I'm going to have to remember. I have found him to be a little bit more stable. Oh, and something I forgot to mention, the trailer, by the way, does not have field wheels on it, so don't drive your trailer over the crop. Something I forgot to mention was the Fendt. Before I serviced him, he could get up to his top speed of 32. He took a while to do it. I think if we translated it to real world, he'd lost a lot of torque. Acceleration was down. He took a while to get going, especially doing some forestry and trying to get up an incline with a tree. He did it, but it took a little while to do it. So anyway, what would have happened in a field? Probably the same thing as with bad equipment, but we'll find out sooner or later. There we go. So we can back you up. Get you back on your way. Please. There's me. My controller confusion. He is away. Hurleyman. Bring this over here. We're going to look at prices, numbers, etc. once I've got these guys going. So the next job is the fertilizing. Right, engine off. Keep the servicing time down. I should become better. I did remember to go back and fill this guy up with petrol as well. Off camera, I got back from the store and had forgotten, but I went back and did that. So we're just going to get going with the fertilizing. Now, something I'm still a bit bemused by is the second weed outbreak. Let's see how the staff get on with the shed being here. Oh, I'm so pleased we've got some accommodation. There are some more mods. We'll have a look in detail again, as I said, as they're kind of relevant. But there's a trailer farmhouse mod which is much cheaper than the vanilla one. It's still about 37,000, so a bit expensive for our purse. But we're getting there. I'm sure sooner or later. I know there's already a tent mod out on PC. And as I say, the only real benefits of it is it's a spawn point. And for when you... Oh, no, Mr. Hurleyman doesn't like that. I was just playing around. They're not the kind of work he's supposed to be doing anyway. He needs to get on with the plough. Now, the plough is at about 49% fixed. Or broken. Let's have a quick look before we get going. Power wise, I'm sure it is rated at 90, which is exactly what the Hurleyman has. So we'll get him on his way. So ideally we're expecting about 7 miles an hour, and there we are. We'll have a quick look on the vehicle maintenance screen just to see, and if we go over here, press our little filter, it's actually the seeder that's down to about 49%. The plough's still at 66. He's going strong. There's the whole team flying around. Now my normal plan is to do the fertilizing pretty much manually. I was obviously distracted today with the little bit of glitchy timber. And we could get that guy going along with the plough much earlier if we were to get the fertilizing done in a more timely manner. God, a little bit of a frame drop going on there. So the shed may have affected his turn slightly there because he missed a little bit at the start of the field. Right, we've still got $206,000 left. And I've decided the loan interest rate, which is running, I think about $800 a day per thousand, something like that. That's off the top of my head, don't quote me. It's manageable. There's no point in keeping the loan paid off just for the sake of it, not now. It's not that crippling a cost. It's about $4,500 a day, but we'll have a proper look. In fact, let's have a proper look. We've got a nice little break in work here. We'll have a look right now at those numbers, and I'll press the right button. Prices. We're harvesting soy today, and there's no brilliant prices at the moment. Let's see. We usually hope to get about 800, late 800s, a bit low today, as you can see over there. 883 on the way down. But anyway, we really wanted to look at yesterday, and in particular the wood. Right, so the total income from that patch of land is probably, it's two of those figures put together, so about 65,000. I could have got more. There are trees left there to be sure, but they were too small for what I would consider the ones you want to chop down unless you're deliberately clearing land, and that wasn't really my intention, and I wanted to get back to the farming and the development. So we're looking at yesterday's figures. Wage payment, 3,900. Contract income, that was 2 jobs we did, 7,100. So that, I do find that weird that basically I get paid twice as much an hour as the people that I have to pay for doing exactly the same job. We sold all the produce yesterday for the price that was available, so not a fantastic price, but not a bad one, and we got 19,169. So that's what our daily income from the fields is. We can kind of figure out then how much we're feeding the the pigs per day, and whether we're better off selling food to the market or feeding it to the pigs. I know it's going to be the pigs, but we will do the maths just to check. And talking of the porkers, their productivity 99%, reproduction rate a pig every 5¼ hours, so we're nearly getting to 6 a day. We're up to 28 pigs. Food wise, we're doing fine. We'll do corn again tomorrow, no worries there. Wheat, barley, we really don't need to top that up. Soybeans we'll put a little bit in today, and the potatoes and sugar beet will last pretty much forever. So here we are over at the other field, our splendid field 18, and you can see the weed infestation. I'll kind of check back before the end of this episode what our last yield was, just to see if it's made too much of a difference. I'm really not sure. I think it's a little bit cheeky if they can grow back, when then the only way would be the expense of a sprayer. That's the one to put the herbicide down. Right, well what we are here to do is to plant a row of trees. So we are going to select the appropriate equipment, lower it, turn it on, and as you can see, basically you've seen this machine before in my use. It just rips a little trench in the ground. There would in real life be a couple of people then on the back shove the sapling in, and the machine then covers over the roots again. Now I'm hoping, because it won't make any difference to taking them down, that these bushes are just kind of irrelevant to this process. If they are, that's good. I mean, we've got that tool to clean the ground now. I could scrub all of this off, but to be honest I want to just aesthetically make as small an impact as possible. I'm going to see how this goes with these 20 trees and how we make the money. Assuming that I can get them all in here, of course I will. Before we start clearing down any more space. I mean, this might be quite a nice way of making money. It's a bit labour intensive, but that's the nature of this game. The more you do yourself, the more money you make. Some kind of bump was hit there. Sapling in there. one in there and one about here. There you go. Right, so we'll turn that off and lift it. We've got 5 left out of the 20. I guess we could let us put another row in. I'm not sure. I know if you plant them too close together, they just naturally won't quite grow correctly. What I'm actually going to do, well, he's just 5 that are left. I don't want to get in the way of anything that's going on over here in terms of machinery turning around, but I think we can get these other 5 in. Along here, starting about here, lower, switch on, one goes straight in, as you pull away it always does, in my experience it always does. 2, 1 there, be the other side of the bush anyway, 1 there, 1 left. We are going to put him in. Oh, managed to put him in whilst we were reversing. Fantastic. I'm going to leave it at that in terms of planting trees today. I think what we'll do, switch off our engine, keep down the maintenance time. We can then immediately return our leased items, or those 2 leased items, because we are done with them for the day. We've not used them for very long at all. We could have got much more work out of them for the lease money. It's not cost us too much. And we'll see what the return is. Basically, there's 20 trees in. I'd guess at least a couple of $1,000 a tree. Right. We'll just switch over to our new arrival. He's plodding on nicely. I do have the option, of course, of now just putting the fence on with the cedar, following along behind this guy, which would half the time it takes to do the fields, in terms of real lifetime, that is. And he's kind of managing the length of your play session is something that obviously is down to your own personal time resource. But what we're going to do right now in this tractor is have a little look up at field 1415, because we still have $205,000 left, and we're going to have a little, no, I've gone the wrong way. We're going to have a little look here at exactly what we're dealing with, because these, as we've seen before, they're 2 fields that are affordable, the 2 cheapest fields on the map now. I think it was 104 and about $115,000, but we'll check. So certainly within our means. Now field 14, which is the first of them here, check for trains. Good. I'm guessing if you look on the map, not the store, when we look at this field as a field packet, we've got all of this land that we're kind of on. So again, trees, maybe we could plough it out a bit more. It was 102. Field 15 is 126. So if we had about another $20,000, we could actually afford to buy both of them, couldn't we? Nearly. Now field 14 is planted with cotton, which I don't think it's going to be economically viable for us to harvest. And then we've got field 15, which is quite a big field. Look at it actually. Planted in oats. So we could make use of that straight away. Right, my mind is just ticking here a little. I'm just going to park up here. Let's have another look at that map. Oh, forgive me for my finger clumsiness. The neighbouring bits of land we looked at before are ridiculously expensive, aren't they? Well, 227. But the field 20, I mean, you can just see visibly, is probably around the same size as 14. And definitely smaller than 15. And they're 102 and 126. I think we've also got some more equipment we could do with laying our hands on, to be honest with you. We are going to need to do a harvest of grain at some stage, so we're going to need a seeder for that. So we don't be out of cash instantly. I think. What do you think? I think buy field 15 straight away, harvest it as it is. We can't fertilise the crop when it's fully grown, which makes perfect sense, but it is new to this version of the game. It's not too much of a journey to get stuff up and down here, and then if we spend the night up here with the harvester, I can park up there for the night, do that field first in the morning, and come back a little bit like we did back in Sosnovka, because our fields were quite distant on the map. So that's going to work. Harvester must be full up. Yes, right, let's attend to him. You can stop for a moment and you can attend to him. I'm trying very hard not to tip any tractors over anymore. These skinny tyres do add to the challenge. Let's see how we are yield wise. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I don't think those weeds would have made any difference. I feel a little bit cheated if they did. We have to move the harvester if we want to be very conscious of avoiding crop damage. Worker's still getting paid then, lucky guy. It's alright. Make sure he doesn't get used to that habit. So that's going to be pretty much a trailer load, and then I guess we'll just do what we did before, just to save logistics and dump the rest in with the pigs. It looks quite pretty. It reminds me of, what is it, the field I'm talking about, so the weeds in it. Looks like some kind of food, pasta and chili flakes and broccoli or something, I don't know. Get you back on your merry way. Get this out of the way, that's pretty much full. We'll leave the trailer. We'll do one of our little guesses, it may get in the way, but who knows, we're just going to leave the trailer there. He'll fill it up on his way past if he can. Get back to the ploughing. So yeah, we've got this little wood mess to consider. Those ones were all glitched together. Past a beautiful easy shed with lighting. I did get the lit one, didn't I? Is there a switch or is it kind of auto on? Can't see a switch. We'll find out when it gets dark, won't we? And also some floodlights amongst the mods, which can be useful. They're quite nice, especially just for giving a place a bit of a feel. What we're going to do, we're going to look a bit more as well about using the terrain modelling to make this again a little bit more farmish. Maybe even a roadway in down behind those trees. a little bit more concrete here. I don't know how I can do with the paint tool where the pig farm has been placed. I'm also wary of looking at how much it would have cost me to place the pig pen now with the separate ground modelling costs, but I'm scared too because I might cry. It's probably quite a lot of money. Don't tell me. Yeah, I think if we get a bit of tidiness up here, it'll start looking quite nice. There is a smaller shed as well, which might be appropriate, but we'll see. We'll get everything tidied up in here at the end of the day, the day's farming, and we'll see how it all looks. Right, let's get this guy back to his job. I do like the birds. It's a nice little touch. It does look a little bit odd sometimes when they come out of concrete, especially when you put a placeable down, because the game in terms of spawning birds seems to not realise you put a placeable and they will emerge from some unpredictable places to keep you on your toes. Alright, off you go. Wonderful. Hurleyman for the win. Okay, so the harvester has literally just finished harvesting. And as you can see, the weeds are growing back absolutely instantly, so we'll get them out, I guess, when we plough. Just a couple of minutes ago there was just kind of half this width, because as we saw before, the growth cycle moves north to south down the map, so the rest of that field is going to get weedy. I'm assuming that field might get weedy too, in which case we're going to be scrubbing out the weeds with the seeder, and we'll see if that's the problem, that the seeder looks like it's killed the weeds but it hasn't. We'll kind of see. It's still something for us to experiment with. I brought this guy over here. I really kind of shouldn't have, actually, in hindsight, but it doesn't matter. The rest of what I'm going to crack on with, I've made some decisions. I hope, and let's turn him off, I hope you agree with me. We are going to buy ourselves field 15 for $126,000. We're going to do that right now. Now that's planted in oats, which we can go and harvest. We won't get an amazing yield because it's unfertilized and unploughed and blah 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 blah. But that can be fed to the horses. It can be fed to horses. They like oats. It can also be fed to our pigs, and we can get some straw. Now we've got $78,361 left. I am going to make. This is going up on what for me is Sunday night overnight. So I'm going to make the next episode of this is going to come out on Tuesday night, definitely. I'm going to really crack on with this now, and I've got the time because some things at work have changed, or should I say gone back to normal. So let me know if you want to make a suggestion. Have a go. Think of what we might possibly spend that money on, and we'll see where we end up. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. Leave us a like if you've liked it. Leave a dislike if you've disliked it. Any suggestions, please keep the comments coming. And yeah, we'll be back couple of days for you after you see this video. If you see it very soon, you can suggest what we spend some money on. We've got that field. I'm going to go and harvest that off camera. We'll see how much we get, and I'll see you all soon. So take care, thanks for watching, and goodbye.